The American embassy handed me over this red card and it prevented me from traveling to the United States where I dreamt of becoming a nurse. I gave up and I said, I'm not traveling to the United States. Let me focus on other things. Now I don't want even this profession. And someone is telling me, oh, you are sabotaging your own travel and the profession. You need to go to hospital and work for 6 years, gain clinical experience. Do you know what you are saying? I retired as a nurse at 24 years old. I retired 11 years ago as a nurse. 11 years ago at 24 years old. That is when I retired as a nurse. And you are telling me to go back to hospital, work for 6 years. Do you know what you are saying? And the reality of the Kenyan economy. You see, some of you don't know what you say when you advise some people. Let me tell you something. If you want to struggle financially in your life in the initial years, right now, go and look for a nursing job. Go and look for a nursing job if you want to struggle financially, and you will suffer. I don't mean that when nursing is your only option. If you can't do anything else and nursing is the only option you have, that you can't do anything, you can only be a nurse or go to the grave, go and do nursing. But there are many options you can engage in and make more money than being a nurse. I retired at 24. And now I'm 35 years old. I have never been a nurse. I have driven cars. I have held money. I have engaged in businesses. And I can tell you that nursing is not the only option that can make you successful. In Kenya, in the United States, you will be a very successful person. Nurse practitioners. And I don't mean in the United States when you are in the US. You go to the US and then you send money back home. That is when you can be rich. Not when you live in the US as a nurse and then totally spend your money in the US. Also, you'll become middle class and then you will be risk going to the lower middle class and becoming poor. But when you are in the US and work in the US and live like a pauper and save your money and send it back home, that one, you can be rich. We have analyzed these things. We used to look at them when we were in school. But when you are in Kenya as a nurse, right now, you have graduated and you are looking for a job, you are going to suffer financially in this one, I can tell you. And that is why some of us decided, no, we don't want that, we can do other things. I cannot go to hospital to earn 20,000, 25,000, 14,000 per month. And you're paying rent, you're paying school fees for kids. I have kids. You're trying to build a house. You're fueling your car. And you can't even buy a car. I mean, right now I will go there with a car. But you can't even buy a cheap car as a nurse right now when you look for a job, unless you get lucky and get employed by the county government and then maybe borrow a loan, a very big loan that you will pay for many years, then buy a second-hand Toyota and then be driving. People don't understand the reality of the Kenyan economy, and let's be logical here. Let's be logical. KMTC alone releases 10,000 nurses to the job market every year in the Kenyan economy. 10,000 nurses. Now, since I graduated and I have been away for about 12 years, KMTC has released 120,000 nurses to the job market. Now you can imagine, 120,000 nurses to the job market. We are talking about KMTC. I've not touched my degree. We are talking about KMTC that are very preferred by employers and the government itself. Now, every year, when 10,000 nurses are released to the job market, only 3,000 are lucky to get jobs. Maybe you can say stable jobs. And when we talk about stable jobs, we talk about these cheap jobs. We are not talking about plum jobs that pay really well. We're talking about these cheap jobs that pay 35,000, 40,000, 45,000. Those ones are about 3,000 that get such jobs. The rest are underemployed. You don't have a job. You look for a job until you get frustrated. You are called for things called locum and you are paid 1,000, 1,500 per night. And locums are not even regular, so your income is unpredictable. You don't have a stable job. 7,000 don't have a stable job. Only 3,000 manage to get jobs. Now, since I graduated, if 7,000 nurses are struggling every year to get a job from KMTC, that means that we've had more than 80,000 nurses struggling to get jobs for the past years that have not worked. Okay? Now, let's go to degree. Now, degree nurses are not favored by a lot of employers. I am a degree nurse and I know. Employers prefer KMTC nurses because let's give it to them. KMTC nurses are hands-on. Their training is physical. They develop a lot of psychomotor skills. They are always hands-on in hospitals. They learn a lot about the updates of drugs and all that, and they know how to dress wounds. So if you want a person who will inject the patient, change the bed, try to lift the patient, do the shifts generally, a KMTC nurses is a good one. That one I can give it to them. Degree nurses, on the other hand, they are more laid back, but we believe they are more knowledgeable based on the curriculum that we undergo, but employers don't prefer them. A person like me, if I go to a hospital and they see that I'm a degree nurse, of course they expect me to ask for a lot of money, and they will look at me and say, no, we can't employ that one, he wants a lot of money. And they will go for a diploma nurse who they can pay 20,000, and they will leave me jobless. I'm speaking what is happening currently in the Kenyan economy. Please understand me. Now, that leaves degree nurses in problems. Why? Because very few, not even 30%. 30% of KMTC nurses land jobs. Now, degree nurses is even fewer. Only 10% manage to get jobs in the Kenyan economy. Only 10. 90% of degree nurses struggle with underemployment and unemployment. I have a countless number of degree nurses who don't have a job right now, who are struggling, who are unemployed, who are underemployed. Now, those who are lucky, and I'm speaking lucky because I have a red card here from the Embassy of the United States, Nairobi, Kenya. Those who are lucky manage to travel to other countries like Canada. We have some in Australia. We have some in the United States. They did not need clinical experience. Immediately they finished, they went. And they went there and they got jobs. Now, that is luck. That's pure luck. There's no hard work in that, because some of us have worked hard on this thing and we have not gone. The rest of the nurses usually remain here to struggle. Some of them fight so hard to go to those foreign countries and they can't go. The UK right now is not even accepting Kenyan nurses because it considered it brain drain, and it said, no, we are not accepting Kenyan nurses. Nurses who go to the United States right now are very few, being taken by these agencies that you are recommending to me that I go to a certain agency. Some people have stayed for about 4 or 5 years. They have not gone to the US. Some try 3 years, then they go to the US. Are you getting me? So some nurses, I'm just an example of nurses who have struggled down here to go to the US. I have not managed. It's just me. I'm just one. If I bring all nurses who have tried to go to the United States in this video, all nurses who have tried to go, they are many. We have a lot of unemployed nurses. And hospitals know this. Hospitals understand that a lot of nurses out there are unemployed. So they will call you and then they will offer you a very mediocre salary. Now, you can imagine a hospital calling me right now and offering me 30,000, 20,000. I mean, come on. I come to the hospital, a person of my status, then I'm there in the interview, then you are telling me that you can offer me 30,000? 30,000, the money that I can just walk out here, then make it. I have understood how to walk outside here, collect 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 there, then I put it together, it is 100,000. Then you're telling me that I have to stay in the hospital the whole day shift, sometimes the whole night shift, then you're offering me 25, 30, 40,000. I mean, come on. You can't succeed financially as a Kenyan nurse because the job market is flooded. And if you tell a person that they need clinical experience for 4 years, you are telling them to abandon whatever they are doing and then go to the clinical setting to compete with thousands of a lot of nurses that are there. Then they have to stick there. Then the employer can take advantage of them and then pay them less. I mean, I looked at that, then I said, no, I don't want to be a nurse. Please just leave me alone. And another thing, you see, ever since I graduated in 2014, I have worked with a lot of nurses in the United States. By the way, thank you, nurses in the US, nurses in Canada, nurses in Australia. You have improved my communication skills. You improved my financial life. I am here because of you, and you made me study nursing more, and I love you. Nurses in the US, Canada, Australia, you are the ones who have made me who I am right now. I have worked with a lot of nurses in those countries, and those nurses are doing well. by Kenyan standards. I've never lived in those countries. You know, in those countries, the salaries they get could be modest in those countries. But if that money is converted to Kenya shillings and brought back to Kenya, it is a lot of money. Sometimes a nurse could tip me like $100. Sometimes I just wake up, I'm broke, then a nurse tips me $200 because I did a very good job for them. I mean, I'm very glad about it, and I desired to work there, but unfortunately I cannot work there. But what I cannot do is to go to a hospital in Kenya, sit there and wait for 40,000. That one, I carried up my hands and I said, I can't do that. That one is disrespecting my own intelligence. I can't engage in that. The only thing I have to do in this country is to accept the situation. Accept that I don't have a job problem. Of course, I'm unemployed. Currently, I don't have a job. But I understand very well that I don't have a job problem. I have a money problem. Right now, I have an income problem. I need income, not a job. And the best income I could get is the income of being a nurse in the US, because I've studied nursing, and I know if I go to US schools as a nurse, I'm going to study and pass very well, because I've been engaging in a lot of reading of nursing literature and all that. And I understand a lot of practical nursing. But now that I cannot go there, please, I will do my own other things. I cannot go to become a nurse in Kenya because I cannot even pay school fees for my children. I cannot even service my car as a nurse in Kenya. I cannot even manage my lifestyle where I am right now as a nurse. I have narrated here how my income came down from $5,000 to $1,000. You know, when my income went down, I thought about becoming a nurse, and I asked some of my friends who are working in hospitals, how much can I earn? Then they told me you can earn like 50,000, 40,000. Then I realized my poor financial situation as a freelancer and as a businessman is even higher than a nurse. So I said I cannot be a nurse. So I don't want to make this video long. This video, I just want to help you understand that nurses in Kenya are suffering. Nurses in Kenya are underpaid. Nurses in Kenya are flooded. We have a lot of nurses in this country. They are fighting for the few opportunities that are available. If I want to rescue myself as a nurse, I have to travel to another country and work there as a nurse. But if I have to gain experience in this country for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years before I can travel, that means that I have to lower my standards, then go to the US later when I'm 39, because I'm 35. If I spend 5 years here that I'm waiting for an agency to take me to the US, I'll go there after 5 years. I'll be 40. Going to the US when I'm 40, what am I going to do there? Some people have said that some people go to the US when they are 40 and they get a job. I go to the US when I'm 40 to do what? Bro, you're joking with me. I go to the US at 40, 45 to do what? To do what? You start adjusting to a new environment. You know, you start adjusting to a lot of things. Then you are old. You realize you have to go to a nursing home. Then no. When you are nearing 40, like me, now start grooming your children. I'll start grooming my children. What do they like? Now I tell them that you can go to the US, but not me. And those who tell me that, oh, you know, you can go there for your children, I'm not going there for my children. My children will figure out life for themselves. They are not disabled mentally. These are smart boys. They can figure out life for themselves. I've had classmates, they've gone there. If it's their fate, these boys, they will go there. I will not go there for them. God will figure out life for them. These are smart chaps. They'll have to work hard for their own life, then figure out how to go there. Not me going there for them. Then I go there, they find jobs. Then I'm old in the US. I've been hearing stories of people becoming old, lonely. Their children have left because the US economy is all about money. Children have gone to look for money. Now you are there, you are sick. Some of them cannot even afford a ticket back home. You've heard of so many people in the US, they don't even come home. Have you seen them come home? These US people are not coming home. Why? Do you think they love the US, that's why they're not coming home? No, they can't afford tickets. It's too expensive to travel back home. So when I go there when I'm 40, what am I going to do there? I should have gone there when I'm 23, 24, 25, so that I go there, gain some qualifications, make money, invest back home, then come back and live as a rich man. But now that I'm 45, let me just work with this economy. The boys will figure out for themselves. But going to the US when I'm 40, 45, no. I'm looking ahead, and I don't want to end up in a nursing home, sick with diabetes, old, alone, locking myself in the house. That is life of developed countries where people are stressed with money, looking for money all over. In Africa, I can be a very peaceful old man with my people around, and they can look after me when I am sick. So those are my reasons. Thank you for listening to me. This is Gidi Akali, and we shall meet again in another video. Peace.